righty. Okay. Welcome, folks. Tanya today. We welcome Michael from Germany. Thank you for joining as always. Davida and Liba as always. Oh, actually, all of you. Very few today, very few of late, just come sometimes. Pretty amazing. So Davida Liba from New York, welcome. And Julia from Pennsylvania has joined us. Boker Tov. Clem in Brisbane, where it's very late. John, North Carolina, welcome. Jackie is in Charlotte, North Carolina. Boker Tov. Good evening to Jane in the Philippines. Erica is in Oslo, joining us. Welcome. Who else is with us? Josephine in New Jersey, where it's cold and sunny. Diane in Arizona. Good morning. Pamela is with us in Oakton, Virginia. Darren is in the Philippines with us. Deborah in Kitchener. Daphne is with us in South Carolina. Alice in Baltimore. Denise is in Kansas for Hanukkah. Okay. Who else is joining us? We have Batya and David and Jenna, Michael, Norm. We have Ace with us. Instagrammers, we have Mark, we have Benjamin, Nancy, Akoy in Peru. Marilyn is in Delaware with us. Who else? Can't make out everybody. We have fishing, Northwest Florida. All right. Rachel in South Carolina. Bella in, you have to remind me, Venta de la Venta. Virginia is here with us in sunny Florida, getting away from the cold in Calgary. Carlos in Costa Rica. Scott is with us in, to remind me. Myrtle is with us. Beautiful. Firstly, a Freilich Hanukkah and a happy Hanukkah to everybody. First day. Last night was the first light. Today's the first day. As we light up the world with the lights of menorah. We probably should have a farbrengen over Hanukkah. I think we'll do that at some point. We begin the third chapter. Actually, I'd like to give over in one word every chapter. Chapter 1 is neshamas, which is the plural for souls. Neshama is soul. Neshamais is plural souls. As we in the first chapter bring out the idea that there's two souls. And then chapter 2, in one word, chelik or mamish. Chelik meaning that the soul is literally a part of God. The second soul is literally a part of God. So In chapter 2, what we spoke about yesterday is an understanding, excuse me, an understanding of the source of the soul, where it comes from. And therefore, it comes from the same source, literally a part of God, even though it might come down here and to express itself into different limbs of the body, metaphorically, different functions that we have. It's just every limb has a different function. And that's what we spoke about in chapter 2. Chapter 3, we go into another point about the soul. And in one word, it's Esser, 10. 10. That there are 3 dimensions to the soul that's inside of us, Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama, and they consist of 10 faculties. 10 faculties. Why do we have 10 faculties? Well, remember, we have a piece of God in us. So that piece of God is divided into in the 10 faculties. Since it's part of God, so the 10 faculties come from the 10 divine attributes, right? Again, the image of God, a part of God. So we have the 10 divine attributes as they descend into our soul, a part of us blown into, right? And those 10 spheres are subdivided into 2 general categories. They're called mothers and they're called doubles. Interesting words. Why mothers? Is because mothers refer to the divine intelligence. The divine intelligence, they have offspring called mothers, or doubles actually. They're called doubles. The 7 attributes are called doubles, in as much that they have a twofold way that they reveal themselves. So let's explain. Chachma, wisdom, we translated. Bina is understanding, we translated. And Das is knowledge. They're called mothers, right? That's really bad translation, as we will explain. And then the emotional attributes are as expressed in the 7 days of creation. Chesed, we translate as kindness. Gvura, severity. Tiferet is beauty. Netzach is endurance. Hod is splendor and humility. Yesod is foundation, connection. And Malchus is royalty. Right? Did you ever wonder why there's 7 days of creation, parenthetically? Because the world is created by these 7 divine attributes. Right? The first day was chesed, indiscriminate giving. Therefore, we have an infinite light of God that's expressed on that day. Right? Vahi, or let there be light. Not light of the sun, the inherent light of creation. That's an infinite light of God. Second day is created by Gvura, which is severity. Severity meaning discretion, meaning discriminating. So God discriminates on the second day, and He makes division. When you make a division, you're discriminating. You're making boundaries, creating. So the boundaries were created between the waters above and the waters below. Separation. Right? The division of the waters. And the third day is Tiferes, is beauty. Which is compassion, bringing the two things together. Now, so that's just briefly the way it is above. Right? We have mothers because they have offspring. Divine intelligence has offspring. And what is that? divine emotions. And those emotions are called doubles, kfulos. Why are they called doubles? I think I'll deal with that tomorrow. One second. Well, briefly, let's just... Kindness. What's the motivator of kindness? Love. What's the motivator of severity, of withholding? Severity means separating, creating boundaries. That right? Like, boundaries are kind of like a severe thing. They're discriminating. Kindness is indiscriminate giving that's motivated by love, and that's what makes it double. In other words, there's two things that are involved in an emotion. There's the inner emotion that leads to the expression of that emotion. So the love, right, which is also manifest, it brings to an act of loving kindness. Boundaries. What creates boundaries? Why do you create boundaries? Out of fear, right? So, for example, when your child is playing with a knife, you are very severe in that reaction, taking away the knife, that they might hurt themselves, because you want to create a boundary that they don't hurt themselves, right? Or you tell your child, when you're playing outside, don't walk out on the street. You created a boundary. Why'd you do that? Out of fear. That's what she prompted it. Fear that the child might hurt themselves, right? I'm just giving that way of examples, right? To explain how they're kfulos, how they're doubles. Okay. So, in any case, how does this? So we just explained the way it's above in the 10 divine attributes. How does it express itself down here below in us? Right. So again, as God blew into us, and as we have a divine image, so we have this inside of us, in the human soul. Here they're called powers of the soul. And they're also divided into seichel, intelligence, intellect, and midos, emotional attributes. Right, chachma, bina, v'das, and as we explained. Now, we're going to go off Chabad, which is chachma, bina, v'das. That's, hey, these are the teachings, right? These are the teachings that when we understand them, that they'll bring to developing our emotions appropriately. So the intellectual faculties, they're called mothers. Why are they called mothers? Again, because they produce the offspring of the emotions. In the intellect, so we have Chabad, Chachma, starting off with Chachma. Chachma comes from the word koachma, the power of what? The potential. In other words, it is the what is it? It's that stage of where things are not clear and comprehensibly logical. You have it in potential. You sort of like, I'm sure we've all had the experience. Eureka, I got it. What'd you get? This light that just shines in your head. And it just, what did you get? You got the seed of an idea. You don't have the development of it yet. We'll get to the next stage. But you have that flash of ingenuity. And that's what Chokhmah is, like bright brain ingenuity, right? The vision, right? Which is the seed that has the entire vision of the tree in it, so to speak, right? A visionary is one who sees an idea, but it wasn't yet implemented. It wasn't something that came to fruition, but they have the vision. And of course, from there it comes to the next stages. But that's the visionary is in Chokhmah, right? Then you have to take that which is in potential, that vision, and you have to come and realize it and actualize it. And one has to cogitate in their intellect that seminal point, that seed of an idea, and now bring it to understanding, which is called Bina. Bina coming from building, right? Binyan. So you bring it. How do you bring it? Well, how do you take the seed? Now it has to go, and you have to develop it. How do you develop it? There's a width to it. There's a length to it, and a depth to it. So the length of it is bringing it down, down, down. So, bringing it down like King Solomon had 3,000 metaphors to bring down an idea, right? They just bring it and develop it further. The width of the idea is how this point touches many different, it has many different ramifications in the breath, right? And this concept, and there's a lot of ramifications on how this point, this idea, touches. That's now developing further, right? Not just bringing down the idea, but then seeing how this idea is got many ramifications, right? And then depth, to understand the very idea itself in its fullest depth. That's called Bina, right? Taking the nebulous seed and now make it to grow into a full tree. Taking a rock and taking many rocks or many stones, many bricks, and build on the idea that you have a full edifice, a full understanding, right? Together, we have Chokhmah and Bina. Chokhmah, then, we said they're mothers, but more specifically, Chokhmah is father, and Bina is mother. The father gives the seed, and the mother develops the seed, right? So it begins actually in intellect. Men are more of Chokhmah. Men come from Chokhmah. Women come from Bina. Not from Mars and not from Venus. Right? Now, father and mother, they together give birth to the love of God and the awe of God. Right? And that's how they are called mothers. Well, again, specifically, it's called father and mother, but when we speak about it in a general sense, it's mothers because, motherhood is what we think about. That brings about the offspring, right? But specifically, Chokhmah is the father. He has the seed, the kernel of an idea, the ingenuity, the flash of that whole idea. That's why men are more about what they see. Women are more what they hear. So for men, it has to be pleasing to the eyes. Women, it has to be pleasing to the ear, and how we speak to them. And I just added that. That's up there. That's today's class. Very powerful. Esser, in one word. 10. So now we're getting a little understanding. Yesterday, again, we had an understanding of where the soul comes from, right? The essence of the soul. Now we're going into qualities of the soul. The 10 powers are the qualities of the soul. Beautiful. Wonderful. Okay. Any questions? Reminder that Torah studies will be tomorrow night at 6:30, and TRC will be Wednesday night at 7:30. Now, what's important over here is we're getting to know ourselves, right? So over here, what we've learned is, well, actually it's going to be, tomorrow is going to give more of an outline. Okay, I want to take tomorrow's class. Just to develop, I'll bring out some more on this because I don't see any questions. I don't see any questions. When you're using your chachma, kind of like, right, when you're looking for ingenuity, what are you doing? Like leaning back. Trying to like allow the divine inspiration to come. Right? You lean back and like even pick up your head, your forehead. That's sort of like, because chachma is the power of what? Koyach ma. What is this? It's beyond you. Because it comes from beyond you. And in order to be able to have ingenuity, in order to have that light eureka come into your head, you need bittul, you need self-abnegation. You need to put yourself aside and allow a new idea, a new thought to come in. Right? So that's physically even how we do that. Bina is the opposite. So in Chachma, it's like, it's me. I mean, so it's not me. I gotta put myself aside in order to entertain something new. That's ingenuity. Ingenuity is something new, right? Right? Something new. Bina is the opposite. You're building. You're building. So when you're doing Bina, like it's the opposite. You're down like this, concentrating and trying to like get the details and work out the details and to it's more of the person involved, right? There isn't the sense of bittul. There's more you there because you're trying to piece everything together, make sense of all the details and the breadth and the length and the depth of it in order that you can fit in all the pieces of the puzzle. Here it becomes piecemeal of puzzles of stuff, right? Discriminating stuff that you are trying to piece together. That's Bina. As opposed to the indiscriminate that you're trying to get the light that's beyond. That's beyond. So it's in a sense indiscriminate, in a sense, right? Indiscriminate, that's a light beyond. And it's indiscriminate in that it's only a seed. I mean, in the sense that there isn't a leaf, there isn't a branch, there isn't a roots. That's discriminating already. That's already developing it, right? Developing it. That's already more the mitzias of the person engaged in the distinction between them. And the purpose of that is in order to bring an offspring, the offspring of a love of God, a sense of awe of God, because of the understanding that we have in our intelligence. Again, we'll get into it more tomorrow. I saw a question here. Jane, can a non-Jew consider the soul as one essence too? Well, non-Jew is created in the image of God. So in that sense, it would be. it's different as we will get more into, when we see chapters 18 and 19, we'll get more of a complete understanding of the distinction of the Jewish soul and non-Jewish soul. We did explain somewhat yesterday, but we'll get much clearer understanding. Okay, any other questions, any other comments? Bella, Das comes before Bina, and a person needs both in their life. So Das we're going to deal with tomorrow. Das is knowledge, as we translate knowledge, a very poor translation. We'll get a clearer understanding. That's tomorrow. Sorry. Okay. Thank you, Czar. And John and everybody for your nice comments. Jackie. And Deborah. Everybody. Clem. Julia. And Vito. Beautiful comments. Beautiful, beautiful, wonderful. Folks, it's Hanukkah. So I reached out to people yesterday locally here, to see if anybody needed a menorah, candles, whatever. And this is Montreal, so most people have very, what's the word? Very traditional place. But there are people still not, and so I reach out, please, if you know anybody that needs, let me know. We'll get to them. So likewise, ask everybody, it's Hanukkah, please reach out to somebody. Of course, you need for yourself. It's a mitzvah. But if you know somebody that doesn't have, reach out to them. And we could send it to them if necessary, for sure. We can do that. Or if you have a Chabad there, that you can reach out to the Chabad locally and let them be in touch with that person and bring it to them. Alrighty. Folks, I want to thank you all, as always, for the great inspiration that I get every day being together with you. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you with Chabad Zuchim Kadesh Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Rambam is coming up. Thank you for joining. Have a wonderful day.